You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Orange is the New Black After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Orange is the New Black After Show.
The animal, it's chop, 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 to the cage is full. The cage is full, day is new. And everybody's waiting on you. You got time. Hold on, wait a minute. Do you turn our mics off for that?
He does.
Turn our mics.
No, I turn them down so it kind of like auto-tunes it along with the music.
No, I can't believe our producer turned our mics down.
He turns it down because nobody wants to hear us.
No, we hit that note this time.
No, you only hit it because I turned it down. It sounded like it.
Exactly.
That
Nobody wants to hear
sounded
it.
good though.
Well, welcome to another episode of Orange is the New Black Season 2, Episode 5, Low Self-Esteem City, baby.
Low Self-Esteem City.
I'm your host, Megan Thomas. Who are you, handsome guy?
I'm Scott Moore. Here having some fun with you. Look at you looking all hot tonight.
Hi.
The lipstick and the neon shirt here.
Thank
You're
you.
ready to rock.
I know it feels weird being across from you, not next to you.
We're so far away. I know, you're so far away.
You're so funny. Okay, look, this was a great episode.
It was really good.
It was funny. Again, now we're back at race relations in prison.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Like, this is so funny. So now we have the chicas versus the sisters, right? We do. So there's a flood, of course, in the, is it the A dorm that the chicas are
It must
in?
be the A dorm, yeah, because they mentioned later on the B dorm.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Could be the C dorm. Could be. I don't know. I don't know how they divide it all up.
Right. Okay. So
It was actually the first time I realized that they actually had their own separate places.
Right.
I just thought they were all together.
But you know what? It makes sense because the dorms are split up by race, I guess, pretty much. If you think about it, the black ladies are together, the Latina ladies are together. The white ladies are together, I guess.
I guess I never realized that when they split it up. I was like, okay, well, that's news to me.
Okay. So, of course, their bathroom floods. We see all the nasty poopy coming up through the sewage system. And, of course, because the Latina ladies are part of kitchen detail, it only makes sense that they take showers first, so they bum rush the sisters' bathroom.
Right.
That's not cool. So do you think that they should, because they are kitchen detail, do you think that they should have first dibs on any bathroom that they want to be in?
Well, this was the thing I was thinking about, too, because we keep talking about budget issues and plumbing issues. I was like wondering, how long does the hot water even last to begin with, right? I mean, that's what I seriously was thinking about that. I'm like, if everybody's taking showers and everything, do they have the hot water?
I don't know.
Or does it go away? Or
they probably get used to taking cold showers.
Right. You're probably right. It's a tough call because on one hand you're like, yeah, you want the kitchen staff to go in, you want them to be clean, right? You want them to be clean when they're going and handling food, and you also want your breakfast.
Right.
So you kind of feel like, okay, maybe they should go in first, but I don't know if there's, I don't know, it's tough.
You know what, I think in a situation like that, the best thing to do would be to say, okay, we have, your bathroom is messed up, so then we'll have half of you guys, we'll assign who takes showers at night and who takes showers in the morning, and we'll split half of the chicas and half of the sisters are in the morning, and same for half at night. Because I think that makes sense. It's only fair.
No, I agree. I mean, that's kind of a smart way to do it.
Right.
Do they do that? No.
No.
That would be too easy, though, right?
30-second showers.
Right. That would be the smart way to handle it. Would be like, let's divide it up. You guys share. But no, 30-second showers. Which, hello,
what do you
30-second shower.
It's basically a rinse off.
Yeah, I mean, how do you even have time to do anything? And as we see later on, like they're basically going to use the sink and everything. Like,
that's a hoe bath.
Oh yeah,
like you do the hoe bath in the sink, and then you do the rinse, the 30-second rinse off.
I mean, 30-second rinse off. Again, that's something you kind of get spoiled with when you're at home. I mean, yes, we're having a drought out here in California, but you kind of think like, oh, I want to be able to take my long, luxurious shower. I want to be clean.
Right.
Like 30-second shower. Oof.
Oh, that's why I can't go to jail, honey.
No, that's why I can't go to jail either, just for that and a plethora of other reasons. But right there, 30-second shower, no thank you. And I like my 2 showers a day.
Right. So then, of course, we see that the 2 groups of ladies are now having their issues with each other.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you get it. The Latina ladies are salting up the food. And then, of course, the black ladies decide they're going to take shoes, tie them up, hide them, that kind of thing. So a little juvenile.
Of course.
Junior high school pranks, I would say.
Right.
Yes. But no, the thing that made me laugh so hard was when Suzanne Crazy Eyes, when they were eating the salty macaroni, she was like, the trick is to pretend it's sugar. And I was like, you know what? As crazy as you are, I guess that's the only way you can eat this stuff and actually swallow it.
But all I was thinking about is how thirsty I'd be after having all that salt, too.
Right.
Another thing I was thinking about, like, man, thirsty.
And then Poussey, of course, talks about the black people's predisposition to have hypertension. I was like, I love all these nuances in this show. Yeah. That's what makes it so great.
It really does. The details.
Right. And so I love the backstory this week, which was about Gloria.
Yeah.
She has a good backstory.
She really does. And again, something, you'd never expect. And that's what I love about these backstories each week is that sometimes you're totally surprised by these characters and what they did to get there. And hers, again, was no exception. And she went through... Oh, it was really good.
Right.
It was really good.
So, of course, we see Gloria. She runs her own little bodega type of store. Her boyfriend, Arturo, it seems like a nice guy at first, right?
At first, yeah. He seems like a nice guy. He's good looking. He's helping out. Like, you're like, oh, she's got a good thing going on here.
Right. He beat the snot out of her with that slap. And I was like, ah! Because I feel like the Gloria we know in prison would have punched him back in the face. Oh, yeah. She's got some rage. But then to see her just kind of go...
Well, do you think it's sort of the same thing, too, like with Piper's character? She's been in prison throughout this time and kind of hardened. I kind of feel the same way with Gloria.
Right.
Like, the Gloria now would not have put up with that kind of crap.
Right, exactly.
The Gloria then, was, I think, just taken back. And again, you're kind of seeing, like, which tends to happen. You get into an unhealthy relationship and, the partner's apologizing and coming back. And, it's like, and you kind of overlook it. And, and it happens a lot. So you see that, and you see it kind of playing out in this case today, too.
Okay, so when you saw the flashes, what did you think was going to happen with Gloria's backstory? Like, why did you think she was going to prison before it got there?
Before it got there, I thought she was doing something... something manipulating because she was running the store. I was either thinking because when the guy came in to want to return the candle at the very beginning, I was thinking is she either selling drugs on the side? I knew it was something to do with selling something on the side, illegally or something with money. And I figured because she was able to run the store, she had the ability to kind of manipulate, finances and stuff. So I thought it was something in that case. What did you think?
I thought that she was going to kill Arturo. I thought she was in prison for like homicide.
Oh, that's a good one.
Unless, is this a prison that you go to for homicide, or is that a different type of prison?
No, I probably think it would be more of a high security since it's kind of a low security.
Okay.
But you could. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like we were talking about with some of the previous episodes, when we see these older ladies in there, too, you're thinking, what the heck did they do?
Right.
So maybe they did, and then they kind of did their time, and they were able to move to low security later. I don't know. But I thought right away when I saw her in the convenience store, I'm thinking, okay, she's doing something with money and something with selling side products, drugs. Because the first thing I thought with the candle was like, oh, maybe it's something to do with drugs or something.
What does drugs have to do with a candle?
Well, I was thinking, because I was thinking of representing, because she was in a convenience store. I'm like, well, I guess they would sell candles depending on, where it is and everything. But I was thinking, well, maybe the candle represents some kind of drug and he wasn't happy with the drug. I think I was thinking way too hard is what I was doing.
I know, right? Here go these Catholic candles, also known as drugs.
Yeah, also known as like the sign for, crack. Different saints equal different drugs.
Oh my gosh, Scott. Okay. So of course we see that, I thought she probably killed him or she did something to hurt Arturo because of his abusiveness.
Yeah.
And I knew he was going to put his hands on her kids eventually.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of this cycle of abuse. So, when of course, I love her Tia, how she's she was just like praying, praying grandmother. Yeah. And it was just, I really liked her. And of course, when she said that, what was going to happen to Arturo, like, you're going to burn for this. Like, I didn't know how that was going to play out. And the other thing is when Arturo comes to the store after, of course, he hit one of Gloria's sons. I thought when the police came, first of all, I didn't realize, I'm like, why are the police there? I thought just because, like, oh, this just happens to be on their beat. They're coming in there to grab an iced tea or something.
Right.
You know, something generic like that. So, of course, when they arrest her for, what is it, food stamp?
Yeah.
Like the WIC card, foods, EBT card, fraud. I was like, I cannot believe that.
Yeah, that was a good one. Well, I knew at that second point, whenever the guy came with trying to buy the beer with it,
right, and
then she got all loud, but then she took his money. I was like, oh, okay, that's her little thing now going on. Her scheme is make it sound like she's not doing it,
right?
But on the down low, she's totally doing that, and that's something that could be easy to do technically with. You know, those type of cards and everything, people could go buy. I thought you could buy alcohol with those now. I don't know.
Well, I think there's some
you could with some food stamps. I thought it was sort of like a credit card. I mean, maybe you can't. Maybe I'm thinking unemployment card that you can buy whatever you want. That could be the difference.
Oh Lord, no! But, you know, this is like real in the hood and in the streets.
Yeah.
Like to take an EBT card and to sell it for basically like, okay, hey, if I'll give you I'll give you this $100 EBT card if you give me $50 because I don't really want the food. I just need the cash.
I want the cash so I can go buy the booze and the cigarettes and whatever else I want to buy.
Happens a lot. It's legal. Obviously, we see that it's not okay.
Right.
But of course, I didn't think that would be the reason why Gloria got caught up, though.
Yeah, I did once I saw that because I guess I was already thinking the first time I saw her, I was thinking she was doing something on the side with money or laundering money or side business. So once I saw that, I was like, okay, then that's what she's going for. Yeah.
And I will say the dramatic part about Arturo getting burned up, I was like, ooh, that's what you get. I felt bad for him, but then not really. Sorry, not sorry.
No, I know. Wasn't that, God, it was so cool. That whole, I mean, just everything about that, was just really good. It was sort of like the karma, getting the comeuppance, it was like, there it was. Because again, it was sort of like, it brings up these issues that are, again, not black and white and the moral, immoral stuff. It's like, yes, what Gloria did was wrong. Again, was it really hurting anyone at the end of the day?
It was hurting the federal government.
It was hurting the federal government. Right. But again, no pain, but like what he was doing was really bad. He was physically abusing the children, her, and then he was going in and basically ostensibly taking the money and was going to just walk away with it. So, what he was doing was much worse than what she was doing, and she just happened to get caught. I'm not saying like I support what she did or saying that was right, but when you look at the big picture, you're kind of looking at those gray areas again and those immoral things and thinking what he did on the scale was a lot worse than technically what she did. Right. She really wasn't hurting anyone, and it was just money that we're already $17 trillion in debt or whatever. It's like, it was just a scratch on the surface. It was wrong. Right. But, yeah.
And I love how the writing in this show is so intricate because every single piece of the backstory was important. It was important for the guy who came in and he didn't like the candle. He was important because he called the cops.
Exactly.
The guy that wanted to buy the beer with the EBT card, he was important because that showed the fraud.
It showed what she was doing.
Arturo Arturo coming to change the locks or fix the key and lock situation was important because that's how he ended up dying. You know what I'm saying? The candles were important. So it seems like every single piece of, especially this backstory, was important. So I do love that about the writers. They're very, very detailed.
They are, and I love that. And like you said, it's like if you miss one little thing, you kind of can miss everything else because it's sort of like a domino and it keeps moving. And that's what I love about it too. It's brilliant writing. Right. It's so good.
Absolutely. Tell us what you think. Did you love this week's episode of Orange is the New Black? And what did you think about Gloria's backstory? Let us know. Where can they go to find us?
Yeah, well, you know what? I know. It's that time, isn't it? I mean, this is a great thing. You got this thing called iTunes. Have you ever heard of it?
No, I don't. Can you tell me about it?
I mean, it's this amazing thing. You can get it right from your phone. Okay. I mean, it's like magic. It just shows up on your phone. It shows up on your iPad, your computer, wherever you are, wherever you're going. Yes. You can get iTunes, and you can rate us. We'd like 5 stars, please. You can comment, which we love your comments, by the way. There's been some great comments from people all these past couple episodes, kind of reminding us of certain things we might have missed, clarifying certain things. It's wonderful to hear from you guys. Definitely let us know what you think. Subscribe, 5 stars, comment. iTunes is great. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on the website, too. Right here on AfterBuzzTV.com.
And of course, AfterBuzz was started by the beautiful Maria Menounos. Right. Hello, and she has a new book out, The Every Girl Guide to Diet and Fitness. It's really, really good. I just read this book. I've got a lot of tips about how to lose weight because I'm trying to get my stomach to look like that.
I want my stomach to look like that, too. I do. I totally. And like I said, and I say it every week, it works for guys, too. As someone who has lost about as much or more at some point, and I've gained a few of it back.
Congrats.
You can definitely get some good tips from that, and I posted it on Amazon, and I think, what is she, like number 3 this week? This book on New York Times bestseller? I know it went up. It was 4 last week. I mean, she's doing awesome, and it helps us here, too. Because every time you buy that, you're supporting us here, keeping the lights on and the air cool when it's hot and summery here.
Yes.
LA.
So let's talk about Gloria confronting V. She storms into CV and she says, you and me, we need to have a little powwow. And so, of course, you know, here comes little Gloria hemming V up against the stall. And I'm like, wow.
I was thinking she was going to put her in her place. I was really excited about it. I was like, someone's going to put her in her place finally.
Because, see, something about that was so fake to me because it just doesn't go with V's character. V is a boss.
Oh, she is.
She's a boss. But she's an old school boss.
But that's part of the reason why I love her. I think I'm always like into like these like villainous, manipulative people that just play it so well.
Right.
Because she just played that so well again.
Right.
Like tried to elicit the sympathy, and she knew how to like again, like we were saying, I think it was last episode about how she knows how to read people, and she knows how to do that. For she gets it. She knows how to read Gloria, everyone right there. So she knows she could get Gloria's sympathy and empathy by acting like she's too old for this, and she's you know feeling upset and sad. And
but I saw straight through that, and I was like, how does Gloria not see through that?
I was surprised that she kind of fell for it too. I really was, because I really thought she's finally going to get her first put in her place here. V's finally going to get knocked down a little bit.
Really?
I did. I was hoping. But
you thought little Gloria was gonna do it?
I thought she was gonna. Yeah, I thought she was gonna maybe put in her place.
No, I didn't.
Not like majorly, but just like the first I'm not putting up with your crap kind of thing.
I think the only person that could potentially do that to V is Red.
Yeah.
Because Red really knows what V's about. She knows her tricks and all that. Everybody else, you're just too brand new, too fresh.
Yeah, that's true, and they don't get it. And I think eventually it's gonna be Red and Poussey, because I still think she's gonna be able to do something. She's gonna be knocked down so far. Separation's going to happen with her and Tasty, and she's going to rise up again, and she's going to be the one, I think.
I think so.
I don't know.
Actually, I like that. Good prediction.
Well, yeah, I know. I should have waited till the end of the episode, but...
Okay, so of course, Gloria confronts V, and then we see that V tells her, well, can you do us a favor? Take your girls off of custodial and let them work in the kitchen with you, because I would like my girls to work in custodial.
Yeah.
So when I heard that, I'm just already like, okay.
What is she planning?
Right. V's major plan has to do with something with cleaning.
Something with cleaning, right.
What is she going to do? And then, of course, we see that, the administration getting into some of the issues. Caputo's trying to figure out how to fix this horrible issue of the flood.
Right.
So, of course, Fig is nowhere to be found. She's too busy on the campaign trail.
Yeah. Again, she's doing her own thing. She's not around.
Right.
And you can't get a hold of her.
And Caputo, I give it to him. This was the first time that I really felt like he cared. I always felt like he was a perv.
So did I. And that no, but I really did. I thought he was a perv. He was gross. He was just kind of like in it for himself. And he was, so I was really surprised to actually see this side of him. Like, where's this side of him coming from? Like, all of a sudden, this sweet, caring guy, like, he seemed like a totally different person.
Right. And which took me, this was probably the first episode I didn't go, you're a perv.
Yeah, me too. And I'm wondering, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out why the change and what the writers have in store for this, because it felt like a very big turn here from what we've supposedly supposed to think of him as, and all of a sudden he's very different. And yeah, like you said, he's trying to work on the plumbing issues, which are unsanitary and disgusting and should be taken care of immediately. But then you see him working a lot with Gloria and stuff, like trying to, Gloria goes in to talk to him, and he's trying to work on maybe making the switch for them, with the custodial girls versus the kitchen staff. And although I thought that was funny too, when he tells Gloria, "You're important but replaceable. Remember that."
Right.
And because she asked her like a candle, she asked her a candle in the office, and she starts going for all this stuff, and wants the use of the other showers.
Right.
I mean, it was pretty funny when he said, "You're important but you're replaceable."
Right, which is true though. I mean, it happened to Red. It can
did happen to Red
you too, Gloria.
But that's what I was kind of thinking too. I'm like, interesting. Is that, again, another little insight, little foresight for us to think, is Gloria going to be making a fall pretty soon too? Because now she's sort of like Red was, getting a little too high up there.
Okay, so of course Caputo, we see this kind Caputo now is
a whole different light here.
Right. He went ahead and hired a plumber because Fig is nowhere to be found. Obviously, this is a health issue. You got to take care of it ASAP. And when Fig sees this, she gets mad, especially when she finds out that the bill is going to be $80,000 to fix this entire plumbing problem.
Right. Now, on one hand, I was thinking, is that real, or is the guy just, because sometimes you feel like you'd be taken advantage of because you're like thinking, oh, this is the federal government, this is the government, they've got money out. Are they being taken advantage of? I just kind of feel like that with like big companies and other things. It's like, oh, you come in, you're like, yeah, that'll be $80,000. Right. So on one hand, I was like, is it really that much? Are they being ripped off? But on the other hand, we know, obviously, that Fig is up to no good herself. Right. And they have no money. Right. So how are they going to be able to pay for this, and what are they going to do? And she basically doesn't want to deal with actually spending the money to fix it.
And the fact that she's like, yeah, take shorter showers. Yeah. And what was the other issue? What was the other thing that Caputo suggests?
Yeah, it was like take the shorter shower. Oh, cut the food rations. They don't go to the bathroom as much. Oh my gosh!
And she was like, ooh, like
taking that seriously.
You can't do. Okay, I get that you're trying to take this money and I guess fund your husband's Senate race, but let's be real. Like, you're gonna kill people just so you can win.
But that's like disgusting too. Right. And basically, like, how much more can we treat them like animals?
Right.
By saying, okay, yeah, let them eat less so they go to the bathroom less. Like, ugh.
So of course, in another turn of us seeing a different light for Caputo, he is in a band and it's called Side Boob. That probably was the most hilarious part of this episode for me. I was like, your band is called Side Boob. And you're in it, Caputo. Like, he actually looks cool. He has his little beanie on.
He has a beanie on.
He's playing the guitar. By the way, he plays the guitar like this.
Yeah, well, of course, I know.
I mean, but seriously, pretend you could at least
pretend you could go a little bit more realistic. I agree, but I like this year. He's a little more edgier, like a little hipper with like the mutton or the mustache instead of like the old pervy mustache they had from season 1.
Right.
At least he's trying to look more rock, a little edgier.
Right.
Yeah, the whole thing here with what else was I gonna say too? Like, they're still having the competition too with the girls.
Oh yes.
With Boo and Nikki, and I just think it's great that Nikki was trying to make the move on Fisher.
Absolutely.
Like, so blatant.
Right.
Like, blatant. Like, I was thinking, oh, come on, Nikki. Like, now you're just looking sad. Like, because you kind of felt like Nikki had her game.
Right.
She knew what she was doing. And then in this episode, you're thinking, oh, she doesn't have game at all.
No, but here's the thing. Okay, so when it comes to the bang off between Nikki and Big Boo, I actually think the reason why that is Nikki's game, and that's how she's gotten so many chicks. She's just blatant and honest with them.
Yeah, that's true.
She plays on women's emotions.
Yeah.
And then she just flat out says what she needs to say, and it's always worked.
But I guess you're right. Maybe it was different because that's the women in prison.
Right.
Versus someone from the outside-ish, like Fisher, and trying to, win it that way. I was just thinking, like, whoa.
But I feel like it happens probably way more than we would suspect, because for Nikki to be that bold, to do that means that she's probably done it before. She's probably talked to a female guard like, hey, and she's probably done something with a female guard. You know what I mean? Like, this probably isn't the first time. She's so comfortable with it. But so be honest though. Did you think that Fisher was going to be like, okay, I'll meet you in one of those spots? Or did you think she was going to be like, I can't believe you, inmate, get in line. You know what I mean? What did you think?
I felt what happened.
Really?
I just didn't, because I don't know. I don't see her. She just seems so timid, and I just didn't picture that. Even if she might have wanted to experiment, I think because Nikki was so bold, it would make her feel very uncomfortable.
Really?
Yeah. So I thought what happened was sort of what was going to happen. I just couldn't see her going off with Nikki. So you thought she might have gone off with Nikki?
Yes, I thought she. I mean, because think about it. Because when you think about the last episode or 2 episodes ago with Soso, I didn't think Soso's response was mad, like, you tried to pimp me for a blanket, Piper.
Yeah.
And then so of course I never thought that Soso would end up hooking up with Nikki.
No,
but
I
then
didn't either.
Fisher, so for me, I was like, well, this is a likely possibility that Fisher will be like, okay, I'll meet you in one of those camera-free spots.
Yeah, I just didn't. I don't know. Because I still find her sort of awkward. But also, I feel like there is...
Not like lesbian awkward, but like nerdy,
awkward,
like Star Wars awkward? Like
not even awkward in like Star Wars awkward, because I'm awkward nerd. Like awkward, like kind of nervous and a little... Like I still feel like she's coming into her own.
Okay.
And I feel like she's starting to get more confidence this season. Some of the other things that she's been trying to work on, and she talks to Caputo about, when they talk about cameras and stuff, and she's trying to dig in a little deeper with the phone calls and everything. So I feel like she's gaining confidence, but I feel like before then she was, not very confident.
Okay.
And I just didn't see. I feel like if you're not confident and you have someone that's overly bold and everything, it kind of make you scared either way.
Ah. Okay.
And I don't think she's the type to do, even if she was attracted or whatever to Nikki, I don't think she's the type to do that, especially with the separation between her job and.
Okay. Well, I guess you You look highly upon her more than I do.
I wouldn't say like highly.
Like everyone has issues.
Right. She has issues, and I wouldn't say highly that I look highly on her. I just feel like she wouldn't be the type right now. Maybe down the road when she gets a little more confidence, or she might be more interested in doing that. But right now, I just don't think she has the confidence.
I love her horrible Espanol. She speaks Espanol. Like I feel like right. Like, but here's the thing: why do you think Fisher wants to monitor the calls? Is she just bored and she's weird like that, or does she have another agenda?
I think she has an agenda, and that's the thing. Like, now that she's getting more confident, she's like, okay, I want to hear what's going on, and I don't know what it is, because I was thinking the same thing, and she was like, well, what is the reason all of a sudden she wants to monitor calls?
Right.
What does she feel like she's going to gain from this?
Right.
And I don't know if it's just as simple as like, oh, she's looking to find a new way of maybe getting a promotion or something, but there's definitely something there.
Okay.
And I don't know. What did you think? Like, what do you think the reason is that she wants to go a little deeper?
I didn't know. I couldn't tell if it was because she has genuine motives. Like, I just want to make sure everybody's okay, and if something's going on, we need to know about and help fix. Or if she really was like, I have nothing to do in life. I'd rather just listen to these people's calls and like be nosy. Right.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, again, is it a confidence thing? Like, she doesn't have much of a life, and this is something to fill in the time, or does she have an actual motive? I don't know.
Right. Okay. So then, of course, we see that with Caputo and his side boob band, he's at the bar, and Healey comes in there after having some serious issues at home with the wife. And now, of course, you know, we see with Healey, he's a very complex guy. You know, he's very, I don't know, what's the word? I don't know how to feel about him yet. Like, I don't know if I like him. I don't know if I hate him.
I know that's part of the thing too, is like, I don't know either, like, because he's kind of gone back and forth.
Right.
Like, at one point you think, oh, he's the good, nice guy, especially going back to season 1. Then you start seeing he has an agenda as well. And now in this season, I'm kind of thinking, oh, is he lonely and he doesn't have any friends and he wants to be friends with everybody? And we kind of feel like we're seeing this in this episode as well, because this is where Piper goes in to try to, you know, which, do you feel like she did that, like pulled that out of her ass basically with the newspaper thing because he was out there?
Right. Let's get to that in a second. Hold on. Let's finish talking about Healey and his wife issues with Katya. He so badly wants his wife to love him back. And I think this is the episode where I get to see that I think I like him now. I think I like him. And I think the reason why I didn't like him before is because he was just so hurt by the hurt that he's been receiving in life, including from his wife. Nobody wants to be his friend. Nobody wants to hang with him. Right. And at the end of the day, everybody wants to be loved, right?
Exactly. And you know, we as humans are social beings.
Right.
We want to feel that acceptance. We want to feel love. We want to feel like we're part of the in-group. And that's sort of what happens. And you see this all the time, from like little kids to what we're seeing in prison here, where everyone has their little cliques and their groups. And it's the same thing with Healey. And again, that's where you kind of see that, you know, that side of him where I'm like, okay, he is a good guy. He may not make all the right choices again, but that's like everyone else. None of us is perfect. And some of us make a lot of mistakes. And he might be making things under the long guise of trying to be friends with everyone and trying to get their acceptance and trying to get them to like them. And you feel for it. He's like trying to learn Russian for her.
Right, which I think is honorable. You know, he loves his wife to the point where he wants to, you know, learn another language so he can talk to her and they can go do stuff. And you see him asking Red for, you know, examples of like what he should do to take his wife out on a date. So he's really trying. So
and it goes back to season 1 too. Remember when he was asking Piper, which dress should I get for her, or should she wear? And I mean, that was a little weird.
It was very weird.
But it's again like he's really trying to make this work with the wife. And
she says something, you know, she said, you don't have any friends. And I think that's probably goes to show that's why Healey is the way he is. He's just, he doesn't have anybody to talk to. And so anytime somebody gives him a little room that they could potentially be friends, he runs with it.
Right. It's like take an inch to, or what is it?
Take a mile.
Give an inch, take a mile kind of thing. And it's like then he goes and.
Right. And so, of course, you see, I think it's beautiful when him and Caputo are having their moment in the bar. And I'm thinking, like, yes, this is going to be like an awesome friendship. Yeah. I thought it was going to be really cool.
Yeah, and you have to think, too, like, this is obviously a small town where they're at, too.
Right.
You know, where this prison is. And you have to think, too, like, they probably don't have much lives outside of their job either.
Right.
Because they're in this small town, and what is there to really do? And it's in upstate
Exactly.
New York, and it's winter. I mean, you're thinking, like, what do they get to do on this off time? And how do you meet new friends and things like that? So if you don't have a lot of friends or whatever to begin with, it's got to make it really tough.
Right.
Especially for someone like Healey to be able to go in and make friends and feel accepted.
Right. But then we also see that Healey goes a little overboard when Caputo comes to his office the next day.
Yeah.
He was so,
Yeah.
Of course, and Caputo's
I
like,
know, it
oh
was,
my
like,
gosh, what have I
awkward.
done? What
like,
have I done?
You guys, what was it? You guys need to have a CD, and it was.
He was just going like
Off on
he
it.
was so happy to have a friend.
Yeah.
Poor guy. But of course, the change in heart makes him a happier person, I guess, because he kind of understands what Caputo was talking about, which is we got to keep the women in the prison safe. We got to keep them clean. And so when he has that conversation with Healey, Healey's like, yeah, you're right. We got to do that. So, of course, he has a change of heart, especially when it comes to Piper. So we see in this episode, Piper's family comes to visit her.
Yeah.
Not everybody, though.
No. And that was. And what's interesting too is like maybe it's because I'm starting to watch the show so much I'm kind of picking up on it because as soon as her mom and brother came in, the first thing I thought was like, where's her dad?
Right.
Like what's going on? Because I was thinking back to the earlier episodes with her. I think it was episode 1 with her and Alex. Now she calls her dad, in the flashback.
Right.
And I was thinking, okay, where is dad? Like what's going on?
Exactly.
That's interesting.
So when she asks, and of course, I love Cal. He's like
Yeah.
probably one of my most favorite characters
Yeah.
here. He's just so much fun.
I know.
He's crazy and weird, and his girlfriend Neri is probably my second favorite character.
Oh my God, his girlfriend cracked me up. I wrote this down too, like what she said.
Yeah,
like,
she said it looked like a gymnasium.
yeah,
or
she's
like
like,
high
it feels like I'm
school.
back in high school, the same cinder block, low ceiling like my old high school, the oppressive fluorescent lighting. And I wonder if this is planned by the federal government. If so, kudos.
Right.
It's so funny.
But then you think about it, you're like, hold on, wait a
Yeah,
minute.
right.
It does look like
But
that.
then I'm thinking, but that's the federal government's MO. Let's make everything out of cinder block and fluorescent lighting and nothing fancy. And so,
Right.
yes, if you're going to a public high school versus a federal prison, they're very similar.
It's so sad to say.
But
so
true.
sad to say.
But I thought
true.
it was great that she called it out, and then she's like saying out to the people in the waiting room, in the lobby, and they're all like, "How is
Weirdo.
this chick? Yeah, she's bizarre."
I love her.
I
and
love her
Cal.
too, and just the things she says. I mean, that was
Right.
so great and so spot on. So yeah, it was funny. And then of course we find out why Piper's dad is not there.
Right. So, of course, with the guessing game that she plays with Cal,
Yep.
she finds out that her grandmother is sick and is not doing too well. So, of course, when she goes and asks Healey for a furlough, I didn't know furloughs were real.
I didn't either. And again, he kind of makes it sound like that too, because he said it's like the Loch Ness monster. It's talked about but rarely seen.
Right.
I didn't know furloughs were either, unless it was like, an immediate
Like
thing,
death?
like death or something, and then you're like going with a guard and like handcuff. Like I never pictured about actually getting the freedom to actually leave and go and visit or whatever. I didn't know you could actually do that.
Right. I think it's because the level of security at the prison
Right.
that they're at. So I guess if it's like
Right.
maximum, then there's
Then
no
you
way.
can't
but
ever leave,
I think
yeah.
for them, I think the only time you could actually leave, though, would probably be like death.
Right. But it kind of goes on to that saying, like the fact that, Morello's able to go drive the van off property and,
Right.
things like that. So it is low security, but you do wonder, like, how much freedom does she have?
Right.
If she theoretically got the furlough, does she have to wear an ankle monitor? Does she have a guard that
With
checks
her at
in
all
with
times,
her?
right.
Like, how does that work? But it was really cool. And then you kind of see her, wanting to, long to be back with Larry almost. Like, they have the phone call and was he talking about bag nuts, which I thought was
Right.
great.
Which is actually a real thing.
Yeah,
I kind of want one, though.
I want one too. It's just the name is hilarious. I mean, I know of
Bag
cronuts, but bag nuts, I mean, they just sound disgusting. But then I'm like, what they really are is delicious. Like bagel, donut, hybrid. Like, hello.
How fat can we get?
I know, seriously. And also, like, after having one of those, I just have to take a nap. So it's not something I'd want to eat, like, in the morning.
Of course. And of course, Larry, on their phone call, he makes another suggestion about hanging out with Polly for 2 hours in the Bagnet line. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh gosh, this is headed somewhere.
Yeah,
It's gonna happen.
Because it was on that slippery slope from where they were from that last episode when the old
Right.
lady talks, to them at the park or whatever and says, oh, you guys are married, and they kind of play
Yeah.
along with it. It's been, we know something's going on with
Something's
that.
gonna have to happen because I'm like, you guys are spending way too much time with each other now.
Way too much time,
It's getting obvious.
Yeah,
So
and
then-
awkward too. Another awkward.
Right. So then, of course, we have Larry coming to the prison. He comes and he sees Piper. Mm-hmm. First of all, I didn't know if he really would come and see Piper. But then I thought about, okay, in the last episode, the episode before last, he was talking to the New York Times or the newspaper guy about writing the article. So I was like, okay, I think he probably would just for his own agenda.
Right.
And I think at the same time, even though he's no longer with Piper, I think he still loves her and he still, at a minimum, just see her.
Yeah, and I think, that phone call kind of made them both miss each other.
Right.
And we know that Larry misses Piper because,
Right.
again, like he talks about it and he keeps talking about it with his father in the previous episode. So we know that there's still that connection there.
Right.
And you feel like she's kind of longing for that too because she says, I want to be, I want to be home kind of thing.
Right.
And home is you. And, so you can see that. And I think there's part of that long there. Again, though, I don't feel like they're right for each other. And I feel maybe because she's lonely right now herself because everything with Alex and everything else that she's probably feeling
Right.
like, oh, I want to maybe get back with him. And, he's easy to run back to kind of when she's feeling down or feeling low or that kind of thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, so
They're not good for each other, though.
They're not.
And we're seeing that in this season very well played out, that they're really not good for each other.
right. And so I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm starting to not like Larry.
Yeah, no, he's a doofus, but he's a good guy, but yeah, but they're just not right for each other. They're just not right for each other.
Is he right for Polly?
The crazy thing is, maybe. No, I'm just saying, like, maybe compared to like her husband who's off on the vision quest or whatever, maybe he is a better fit because he's more of can take on the parenting duties and not the absent father, and maybe between the two of them with maybe it'll work for them. I don't know.
Right.
I don't think it's healthy either, but
Right. So, of course, this episode we see our good friend Red, beautiful Red, and she's giving Healey advice, and she's got this greenhouse garden going. What is she going to do?
Well, we know she's up to no good because the very first time she walks in, looking at the greenhouse, she's like, oh, I see the sewer opening under the floorboards.
Right.
It's a great way to...
So do you think she's going to, like, escape?
That's what I thought at first. I really did. I thought she was going to escape. But then I thought that seems really dumb, though, because, again, it's sort of like the thing when you see out here in LA all the time, you see the police chases, and you're always like, okay, come on, you're going to get caught. Like, why do you even do
Right.
Why are you even doing a chase? You're going to get caught.
Right.
You're not going to escape. It's sort of the same thing, too, with this situation. Like, if you escape, you're going to get caught, and then you're just going to be in more trouble. So, I don't know. It seems like she would want to escape, though, because it's just, it's a big enough opening she could get out. Or I don't know what she's planning, but she's obviously up to no good. And she obviously feels she's got to do something to kind of counteract V,
Right.
her arch nemesis from before.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so of course at the end of this episode, we also see that Red comes into the kitchen and she is storming mad, and she's like, Gloria, what did you do? Mm-hmm. And of course, Gloria's in there like, I got my girls in the kitchen. Like, what do you mean?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, everything's good.
I told V off. I'm running things in here.
See, again, she's thinking she set her straight, and like, because V was being all emotional. Like, yeah, I'm running things. Everything's under control here.
So now at this point, I remember last, when we did the recap last, I was talking about how I didn't really know, is V like manipulative?
You and I both were kind of feeling the same way.
Right. Like,
and I think, again, it kind of goes to that thing, like, there is a good side to people, too. And there's a bad side, and yes, she's definitely manipulative. And
but see, here's the thing. I said I didn't think that V was a villain. Now I think she is.
I do too. I agree. I wasn't thinking she was so villainous, but now I do too. She's definitely,
because for somebody that can play with people's minds like that, like, I'm scared of you. You have too much power.
Right, and she's so good with it. And like we were saying, even in the previous episodes, and again earlier tonight, like, she knows how to read people like that.
Right.
And it's like you either can use that for good or you can use that for evil.
Right.
And she's using it for the dark side because she played Gloria right there, like the fiddle.
Right.
Put her in her place, like right there by playing the emotional card. And like, oh, I'm too old. I don't want to have any trouble.
Right.
I want us to work together. She knew what she was doing. And and again, it's brilliant to watch those type of people in action. And I love that. I really do love that because I'm like, that is good.
I can't wait to see what happens with this. And of course, Red is like, Red knows the deal. And she's like, you have no idea what you've done. You're
gonna regret it. Oh yeah.
V played you. You don't even realize that she played you.
Yep.
And now things are, and that to me was foreshadowing. Like, here it comes. This is not going to be good at all. And V definitely, to me now, that V stands for villain. Before I was like, maybe it's a Victor. Maybe she's nice. Yeah. Now I'm like, honey, I'm scared of her.
I am too, because she is good. But I love watching her in action too because she's good. But yeah, and that was towards the end there, and I love that whole discussion too that Gloria has with the kitchen staff about the Catholic Plus thing, and
right.
and what is what is that religion called? I want to something with an S. You
What,
know,
shaman?
no,
Voodoo?
not, and I want to say sangria, but that's not it. But I know
Sangria.
people out there are going to know what it is. You know, it's like with the candles and using, you know, a lot of it sort of using the prayers and the magic and a little bit of all that mixed in there. I know people out there are going to know it, and I'm feeling dumb for not remembering it. But, you know, she talks about that and using the power, and she's like, I need whatever help I can get. And then at the end there, when Red makes that comment, like, yeah, you're going to regret your decision, she's like, you know, then the girls are like, oh, did we leave the candle lit? And she's like, are you kidding? This stuff is dangerous.
Right.
She puts the candle out because then she's like, uh-oh.
Right.
What did I unleash now with V? Like, what's going to happen now? So, yeah.
Right, and then, of course, I think also her experience with candles, of course, that is part of the reason why she's in prison, because a guy that bought a candle from her store, you know, so she realizes, like, okay, some of this stuff has power. Let's not play with this. Never mind.
Right. She's
Let's
like,
put
never
this
mind.
out.
This is dangerous. What are you talking about? Yeah. So I
Right.
thought that was really good too, and kind of tied it all back up when she said this is dangerous to the end scene there with Arturo back to her backstory. Yeah, that was
Burning in the flames and the flammas.
That was an intense ending too. You know, where you just you
Right.
see the flames and then you see the Virgin Mary or whatever that was at the
Right.
top, and then it just fades to orange. I'm like, ooh, tense ending.
I
there.
know. Okay, wait for the next episode.
Gives me chills.
Right. Okay, so of course, wonderful Scott. Where can they find you?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at sman80. That's sman80, and I'm also doing the Defiance after shows here on Thursday nights and starting this Sunday as well. True Blood, back for the final season.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Final season.
As always, I am Megan Thomas, and you can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and that Instagram at Meg Scoop, like scoop of ice cream. Hit me up. Let me know what you think. Until next time, we will see you. Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.